Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Callum Grieves. I'm the growth marketing manager here at Notify Technology, and today I'm joined by Robin Dayton. Hi, Robin. How are you doing?
Hi, Callum. Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. So today, Robin, we're basically just going to get a bit of your views on how you're finding Notify at the moment, and a little bit more about the kind of process for procuring a system, just to help with the safety leaders out there in terms of what's entailed. And then also talk a bit about your onboarding experience with Notify since you joined us sort of 3 months ago. That's okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect. So I guess to give those who are watching and those who are listening just a bit of an overview to you guys, who are Menzies and what do they do? Then a bit about yourself, Robin, as well. So what do you do in your role?
Yeah, so when we're talking about Menzies, we're actually meaning a business called Menzies Distribution Solutions. So back in October last year, we actually split away from the wider Menzies Distribution Group. Menzies Distribution Solutions, we're a big third-party logistics provider. So we've got a couple of thousand people in the UK, about 50 sites, and about 700 trucks, serving a wide variety of customers in terms of both storage and warehouse and transport. So every and any kind of logistics within that. We work for a lot of food manufacturers, retailers, a lot of packaging manufacturers, but there's even defence and construction and all sorts of things in that mix.
Cool. So a wide range of activities.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, cool.
Keeps us interested.
Cool. And then yourself, Robin, as well, just in your job role. So I guess obviously in health and safety, what do you kind of do within Menzies from a health and safety side?
Yeah, so I'm actually Menzies head of quality and ESG. ESG being environmental social governance. So safety doesn't actually feature in that, but it comes in as part of our ESG program. So my role within that is I work for the CEO of MDS. I kind of advise on a safety point of view, more on the strategic direction and looking at compliance. So Notify is key on that. There's other colleagues in the business who are actually often doing a lot of the tactical delivery of safety. They're also very heavily involved in the Notify project.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. So I guess we'll kind of start at the beginning. So obviously now you're a customer of Notify, but what did health and safety look like in Menzies Distribution kind of before Notify? What challenges were you facing? And I guess how were they impacting yourself and the safety team and your kind of wider business operations as well?
Yeah, I guess from some of the challenges we face, particularly in our sector, it's keeping people safe, but we've got so many people. Vast majority of our employees are out on the road every day. So not in buildings or factories that are under our direct control. We have a lot of operations where we're actually implanted on customer sites. So again, you're not necessarily directly in control of what's going on the site, that sort of thing. So we've got a real diverse spread of operations and a real diverse spread of people within that. So actually getting them all engaged with a system and using a system has been a challenge. Our previous system did a lot of what we want to do, reasonably well. However, we had some challenges around getting people engaged with it. It didn't have a useful or a functional app for doing audits or for logging incidents. It didn't have things like QR codes to get people involved. So I think one of the things we were sort of working on, one of the challenges we've got was just engagement with this sort of thing. Yeah. So it's not always the same usual suspects at sites that are reporting things or doing audits or getting involved in checks, which is what we were seeing with the old system.
Yeah. I mean, it's really important. We kind of hear that across the board in Notify. Ease of use, the fact that no training's required, the ability just to report like a near miss within like sort of 3 clicks is just exactly what you need to get people engaged.
Yeah.
And I guess how were they doing that previously, Robin? So did they have an app they were using, or were they just using like a web-based application to do it, or like a native app?
No, purely a web-based application. Like I say, there were some apps that didn't work and never delivered. So we never really, we had a go, but they didn't work, so we didn't engage with them any further, because if people in the safety team couldn't get them working right for them, then you've got no chance of. And actually, I'll use the everyone from the cleaner to the CEO.
Yeah.
An app's got to be simple and straightforward, and being good friendly language. Otherwise, neither of those two extremes are going to get involved and use it.
Yeah. I mean, especially during people's day-to-day activities, right? If someone sees a loose cable, they know it's going to take them 10 minutes to fill out a form.
Yeah.
Which then might not get looked at or actioned. That engagement is going to get switched off straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, or then as well, that form just ends up on, as I mentioned before, on one of the usual suspects' desks. So the safety officer or the safety rep at a site, or a manager or supervisor. Yeah, so there's no real involvement or engagement in that, and it's perhaps harder to give feedback as well.
Yeah, definitely, which is important to close that loop, isn't it? I mean, if people go to the effort of reporting something and they don't see it's being actioned, what's the likelihood of them reporting that again? So that feedback to the reporter and that transparency over, right, we've seen this, we've taken actions. That's obviously really important to help, I guess, drive that proactive safety culture in any business.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess in terms of the old system you were using, Robin, was that just one system, or did you have like a combination of different platforms? Was it some manual processes kind of involved in that as well, or was it just one platform?
So there was one key platform for logging accidents and incidents that also did audits as well. But on the old system, only the safety team were using that for incidents and audits. And we were keen as well with the new system to get other people using it, such as using a new system, such as our fleet team, who look after fleet compliance, do a lot of auditing themselves, but to get more of these things systemized, better visibility of actions and that sort of thing. So that was also something in our minds when we're looking at new systems, is how do we get something that more people than just the safety team use.
Yeah, I guess, Robin. So you talked a bit about engagement there. Was that kind of the main driver, is to kind of why you realised the old system wasn't working, or that way of working wasn't fit for purpose? Was it that lack of engagement and that lack of data were you getting, or was the other things kind of at play as well?
There were some other things at play. So actually, big complete honesty here, our hand was forced in a little way to move away from our old system, because two things were at play. One, the system that we were using was coming to its end of being supported, so we were going to have to either switch to that provider's one of their new systems, or look at something different. And we'd had that, we were aware of that, and we've been working on that for a little while, but it was always one of those cans we were kicking down the road. The bit that really brought it to the fore was when Menzies Distribution Solutions, October last year, split away from the wider Menzies group, and we wanted, that meant we needed our own system. We actually wanted, sticking with the legacy system, but just buying our own version of it was an option. We really made that decision to actually, we want to do something different. We want to do something new. We're essentially, starting 2025 as a new business with a new plan, and a new system was kind of felt right thing to do, to sit underneath that and work with the people.
Yeah, of course. So when you started that process, Robin, so you realised obviously the existing system, you could have migrated across, but you decided not to. So where did you start to go and look for a new system? What did that process look like? I'm thinking for the safety leaders who might have systems that are coming to the end of the renewal, or someone's looking to move away from manual paper-based processes. Yeah. What did that kind of process look like? Where did you go for information?
Complete honestly, we started with Google. And just like, what's out there, and we reached out to, I think in total it was about 7 different suppliers, including our previous supplier. Little bit of Google, little bit of talking to colleagues within our sector. The logistics sector is quite incestuous. People will move around sort of different businesses. So there were a few reaching out to colleagues working in some of our competitors' businesses. What are you using? Would you recommend? And such like. But yeah, actually, it was Google that we hit on from Notify. I think it was only when we were a bit further down the process of looking at providers and shortlisting did we realise one of our major customers was also a few months ahead of us in terms of deploying Notify. So we were able to have some chats with them about how that was going. But yeah, in the main, it was mainly Google, and a couple of recommendations for people to look at. A couple of those recommendations were also not necessarily recommendations. They were, this is who we're using, but I'm not sure I'd recommend them.
Right. Okay. Got you. We don't need to go into that.
No.
Cool. So obviously we know you now opted for Notify, which is great. Well done having you guys on board. But I guess for those listening and watching, Robin, what kind of made you choose Notify in the end? And kind of what did that selection process look like? You mentioned you kind of listed 7 providers you were looking at. But what was the kind of few or one in particular deciding factor that you thought, oh, these guys look like a perfect fit for us?
Yeah, I think there was probably a couple of things at play in that. As we were working through the process, obviously we had lots of online demos and discussions, and then starting looking at sort of pricing options. I think the initial sort of narrowing it down to Notify was actually quite an emotional decision in terms of, actually we just liked what we saw. It just sort of resonated the way the demos were put across by Johnny on the sales team. Just some of the way it looked and felt, and actually some of the language that the demo system used, particularly the app that we were shown, was just so simple and straightforward that if I come back to what I said before, everyone from the cleaner to the CEO could understand what it was and how it worked. And that really cut through to myself and a colleague who was doing the shortlisting. And I think then broader on that, just the culture that we saw from Notify coming across through the initial discussions. Oh yeah, this kind of works. This fits well with us. The system did everything we wanted it to do, but actually, wasn't including lots of things we didn't want at that point in time, which, it's important to call out that there were other systems with all sorts of added functionality that was, being put under our nose and pushed towards us that we just didn't want or need right now. So that was quite appealing. So it came across just simple, user-friendly, good cultural fit, and also just that initial phase really responsive from Notify, really engaging. Whereas, there were some of the people we'd shortlisted to look at their systems. We didn't even get to have a demonstration because their timelines were so stretched out. We'd actually made a decision before they were even ready to give us a system demonstration, which is mad. We were, because of our demerging from group, we were on some fairly tight timescales to make some decisions, but some of those just couldn't match that. You were looking at, from first contact, maybe 3 or 4 weeks to actually see the system.
Right. Okay. Which
we were looking at Notify within a matter of days.
Yeah, I mean it's something we're pretty strong on, to be honest, Robin. I mean, we've seen customers be on board within 2 weeks before. So anyone who's looking for a quick turnaround, we kind of pride ourselves on being agile and being responsive. So great to hear that kind of resonated with yourself as well. Just delving a bit more into the customizability of Notify. I know obviously there's obviously lots of systems out there that do a lot of great things. I think one of the good things about Notify is it is that customizable, and you've kind of got the options to kind of pick and choose which modules you want to go with. So if you just start and And it's a big decision to invest in software and roll it out across the business. So if you just wanted to start with like just incident management, for example, or just auditing, you could do that. Then obviously expand on those modules kind of as you grow with the business. So no, it's great to hear that was kind of in your decision making, and obviously, like I said before, great to have you on board. Cool. So I guess when you first signed up for Notify, so taking all that into account, you went through the demonstration, you went through the sales process, you liked what you saw. What kind of happened within that sales process that made you kind of certain that this was the right company you were going to go for? Was it just that sales experience, or was it obviously the combination of things you touched upon?
The sales experience, what we'd seen of the system, what that had led us to understand about the system. As I said before, it was going to do what we wanted it to, and then ultimately the costing also that came across, or the price that came across. That was certainly the thing that sealed the deal. Yeah. It was good value for money based on some of the other systems we were looking at, when our CEO, who's my boss, he'd forgive me for saying this. He's an accountant and a Yorkshireman, so you've always got a challenge to convince him to spend money. When we're able to go, actually, we've found what we think is the good system that's ticking all the boxes. A provider who is responsive and the culture fits right and the price is good. It was an easy sell into him.
Yeah, which is great, right? Which is great. I might just throw a cheeky question, Robin. Were we the cheapest solution that you looked at, or was actually cheaper solutions out there?
I think there was one cheaper solution we looked at, but it wasn't very good.
Okay, okay, we'll leave that there.
We'll say no more.
Cool.
It didn't tick that it will do what we want. I think it was quite a locked down, very generic, off the shelf kind of system that might work fine for other people, but didn't have the customizability that we really needed.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Sounds good. So I guess now you're on board. You're fully rolled out within Menzies. What's that onboarding experience been like for you? Have you got like any particular highlights which have stood out over that period?
Yeah, it's been good. So Joanne from the team and Paul, who's been supporting as well, really good experience. Again, very quick, very responsive, very good at helping us sort of learn, because past lives I've put in other systems before in different businesses, and one thing I sort of have learned is you often just don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what the system can do. You don't know what the best way to get to a certain solution is. Sometimes you don't even know the right questions to ask. That part of it being very easy. We got the system built and tested very quickly. So through the latter half of 2024, or the latter month of 2024 through December 2024, probably one of the real highlights from that is, so we'd initially decided to just cover safety incidents on Notify. So accidents, injuries, hazards, near misses, observations, also environment, quality and security, but all of the stuff that fitted under the SHEQ. At the same time, we were putting in a new system to manage our vehicle fleet. That had the ability to capture vehicle accidents. So we made a decision. Vehicle accidents used to go on our legacy safety system, but we made a decision within the business to split that, put the vehicle accidents on the system where all the other things to do with trucks were. The maintenance records, service records, tachograph records. It made sense. You could look at that system. Everything about a truck was in one place. Made a lot of sense. The vehicle accidents part of that system didn't work. We deployed that before Notify. So I think that went live in sort of October, November. That was a project that was already happening before that. It didn't work very well. Right. So I think I was either very around about Christmas as we yeah, we're well into the build and planning for go live in the new year with Notify for the SHEQ part of things. Made the decision that actually, from what we're seeing, Notify would be the better place for the vehicle accidents. Back to Paul and Joanne to, could we just tag on an extra set within the incidents module, and they were able to build that, deploy it really quickly within a matter of days. The fleet and insurance team, who were getting quite grumpy with what the other system wasn't doing around vehicle accidents, within a week or two are delighted of what they're seeing with the new system, and bringing those incidents onto Notify, and that's working well. With a couple of tweaks, we were on a call with Joanne yesterday. There was a little tweak we need to make, but yeah, so that's been a highlight, that actually there was, in the middle of the onboarding process, that we changed and decided that we wanted to add back in something fairly chunky and important for us, and it was able to be accommodated very, very quickly, very easily, and at a not astronomic cost either. Which you often see from other system providers.
That's it.
You want a modification. Oh, it's a bit like when you get the plumber come round to your house and they go,
how much? No, that's great, Robin. I mean, great to see that. I mean, again, just highlighting the configurability of Notify. You can kind of report, I mean, any type of SHEQ event in the incident module. But to be honest, it can go beyond that. We've seen customers use it for things like customer complaints, even or abuse or whatever it might be. So it's great to see you using that functionality, and great that your fleet team are happy with it too.
Yeah, and as you just said there, we're already thinking about, are there other things we can add into that, and complaints was something we were just discussing the other day. So a place to track for us complaints that come in from the public about maybe the conduct of our drivers on the road. We've never had a system for capturing that. We're now thinking, we could go further.
Yeah, perfect. No, that sounds good, Robin. I mean, you've touched on a few things just throughout the call there, but I guess if you could summarize it into one. So you've obviously highlighted engagement, you've highlighted the incident type change there during your onboarding. Is the kind of one thing now you've got Notify that you can do now, which you couldn't do previously with the system? I appreciate, obviously, it's early days with you only recently being onboarded, but have you seen like an uptake in engagement, for example?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's been really, really noticeable. So I think we've been live nearly 3 weeks now with the system, and we've had probably, I think I should have checked this morning, but I think we're up around 1,500 safety observations have gone onto the system in those 3 weeks, which is a little bit ahead of sort of what we were trending at last year. So there's a definite uptick in the amount that are being raised. The biggest thing that we've noticed is there's a bunch of different names reporting these things now, rather than the usual suspects, rather than a flurry coming in at a point in time when the safety officer at a site sits down and does a bunch of stuff. There's names of people that I've never even heard of before putting things on. We deployed QR codes on Monday this week for the first time, and we're expecting to see that go further again, because it's now open to literally anyone to scan it, a QR code, report an observation, report a hazard, report an incident. They've not got to put their app, a company app, onto their own device, and we're opening that to even a lot of our big sites will have contractors working there most days of the week, repairing equipment, that sort of thing. That's open to them as well, to feed into the system. So the biggest thing was a slight uptick in the amount of observations, but the biggest thing is a whole bunch of different people doing it.
Yeah, which I guess is great for your business, right? If you're getting, I mean, those positive observations from different people, it's just more learning and more data to help you to essentially get ahead of risks, isn't it, in the business?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. And again, appreciate it's really early days, Robin, but I guess based on your experience so far, would you kind of recommend Notify to your peers, to your friends, to your colleagues?
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, absolutely. Yeah, I think we'll keep developing and keep learning and see what else we can get out of the system. But yeah, definitely would recommend it. And also, I think one of the things that I got invited to, I think it was just before Christmas, is that I've never seen before with any other providers is, you know, Notify actually getting clients together in a room to sort of have some conversations and compare notes and learn from each other how to make the system better. So yeah, that's for us was another sort of bonus and thing that we'd recommend.
Yeah, I mean, we're very big on the collaboration, Robin. You know, I mean, me personally, I kind of use it in the marketing element. You know, it's a health and safety software partner. You know, we want to collaborate with our
Yeah,
customers to help fuel the product roadmap. You know, it's your voice, it's your ideas, it's kind of how you want to manage your processes. So if we can get everyone together to share ideas and improve the
yeah,
platform to help obviously make your life easier, but also your workplace safer, then of course we'll do that every day of the week.
yeah. And I haven't seen any other provider that does that. Maybe they do, but I haven't seen it.
Cool, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Perfect. Well, appreciate your time today, Robin. That's kind of all the questions I had for you today. I'm sure we'll catch up again soon as you further into the journey with Notify. But yeah, appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thanks.